Hi guys, long time no see. This video has taken me such a long time to record. I had to feel strong enough to basically get on camera, and I'm very sure whether it was my last vlog or the vlog before, I promised you guys that I would be updating you more regularly, and obviously that was the plan. But you know, you can make as many plans as you want and then life happens and you just kind of, you know, have to prioritize or whatever. So obviously the title has given it away. I lost my dad on July. Oh shit.
Hi Keisha.
Hi.
How are you?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi.
How are you? This has been organised by a close friend of yours. We're here with Spotify because we're giving flowers to black women who we feel like deserve flowers for their contributions. And you have an amazing contribution to music. From when we was young, I was watching you on our TV screen.
Yeah, and you're just incredible.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Genuinely.
Oh my
it's
God,
very
that was
heavy.
heavy
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
no, we went for the real bag.
And I'm tiny as well, so.
Yes.
Oh my God, can I just give you a hug?
Of course you can. We actually did.
Hi guys.
I've had so many tears over the last few weeks. No, I really, really do appreciate this. This is definitely one of the highlights of my career. So.
Oh, well,
Honestly,
you know what?
I
You're going to
appreciate
be quiet now. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube.
Like and comment,
Like
please.
and comment.
Thank you.
You get me? Let's get her to 1 million subscribers.
Nothing less.
And get the viewers up and all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
We don't know. We are winning. Who we be?
Oh my gosh. I literally just got that on camera. That was so sweet. Okay, so do you know what's really interesting about that moment? I put a post on my Instagram and I said that in life, I'm starting to learn now that you have highs. The thing is, we all know, innit, like highs and lows, they happen. But it's just a guarantee that you're gonna have heartbreak and there's going to be trauma. Like whether you like it or not, you can't even avoid it. But then, you know, God, I truly believe that like, no matter what we go through, God is with us through it. This was my first ever birthday last week without my dad. And, you know, it was just really hard because at midnight he always would, you know, message me and, you know, he was always like the first one. But I got a voice note from him from last year, and normally he would text, and I'm just so grateful that at least he, you know, put it on voice notes, so I always will have, you know, that. But yeah, I just think that it's so lovely having those moments where you can feel really, really sad, and then these guys, they show up with flowers. And the day after my birthday, it was the release of the One Touch reissue album, and I'm so appreciative that we're able to get the opportunity, but also sad because my dad, you know, I would have loved to have just like said, oh look, you know, Dad, this is what it's doing, and you know, little things like that, as well as the birthday, bitter and sweet. And actually there is a Bible scripture, and it basically talks about a time to laugh and a time to cry, a time to mourn. And life really is like that, you know, there will be a time for everything. Heartbreak is inevitable and you can't avoid it. And I definitely feel like I'm someone who thinks about these things. I've always thought about the possibility of the worst, you know, worst case situations, because I don't really like to avoid things like that. And also as well with my mom, you know, she has always prepped me and my brother and said, you know, worst case scenario, if this happens, this is what you should do. But when it actually happens and you lose a parent, especially a dad, I am a daddy's girl, and no matter what happens in life, there were things I didn't even tell my dad, because my dad was the kind of person, like, if you mess with any of his children, like, it was a major problem. And I think the moment that he passed away, I just felt like I was out here on my own, and I didn't have that protection anymore. A few weeks after he passed away, we were just having loads of life conversations. And I really felt compelled to just let him know exactly how I felt about him, and to, you know, think about things from childhood, and to call him and go, you know, Dad, I totally see why you did this, or why did you do this? I got all these, like, you know, had all these questions in my mind, and I really felt like, okay, they need to be asked. We talked about weddings, we talked about, you know, children, and well, I think it was like complaining about something that my brother had like taught my nephew or something like that. And I said, oh my gosh, Dad, you're such a picky parent. Like, what are you gonna do when I have mine? And he completely like shut me down and was like, oh please. He was like, you're gonna be the perfect mom. You will be perfect. I don't even think about that. And at the time I thought, interesting. Well, obviously I thanked him, but I did kind of feel at the time like, so you're not gonna say, you know, like, oh, I can't wait for you to be a parent. Do you know what I mean? Because when I speak to like my mum about it, my mum's always like, oh, you know, I'll be so excited to see you as a parent, or just little things like that. So when he said like, oh, I don't even think about it because I already know, for some reason, it just felt like, I guess it didn't register, but now I'm feeling like, wow, it's like he gave me this approval, almost like he wasn't gonna be there. So that gave me a lot of comfort. And, you know, I'm gonna keep the wedding conversation just private. I just wanna keep that close to my chest, but I definitely know, you know, what he approves of, what he doesn't, and we had amazing conversation about that. He definitely was excited for me to release the album with the girls, and, you know, he definitely gave me some really good opinions, and, you know, on what he felt like, you know, we could do. And, you know, I'm always going to hold those dear to me. I actually was video diarying like the entire process on the days where I could, you know, be bothered to film. I might insert them in this.
Grief is a real deep thing, and I'm a very positive person. Like, even when I'm upset, I can like not easily, but like, you know, I could talk myself into like the positive sides, and just I could talk myself round, basically. You know, I have my day or two, and I have my things that I go to kind of pick me up again if I've got like, if I'm anxious about something. But when it comes to actual death, I've never obviously had it so close to home, and I am it's been, I think we're on like, I've lost count now, 11 days, and I just feel so many emotions in one day. Like, 1 minute, like today I woke up and I felt like, no, you're going to be positive and all this kind of stuff. And then it was like, it kicked in, and I just started thinking about him and his voice and the things that I'll miss about him and stuff. And I'm really struggling. And normally I listen to like music, and like when I'm feeling this way, I can listen to like music to like get me out. But I'm just sorry, I'm feeling oh my gosh, breathe. I don't want to listen to music, and it's the first time ever where I don't want to listen to music. You know, obviously I'm praying, and I don't question God in the sense of like, not that there's anything wrong with it, because I just feel like people grieve the way they grieve. You should never tell people how to grieve. But I do tell God that I don't really understand. And the reasons why I don't question it is because I just feel like he has his reasons and his purpose, and at the end of the day we all belong to him and he knows best. But it's hard to accept. And when people say like, oh, you know, you got your memories and think of all the good times, like, that just feels so like closure to me.
I've never cried so much in my life. I definitely cried every single day for 7 weeks. The first couple of days I was sleeping, you know, with like his items. I was on Instagram. It was a good thing and then a bad thing, because all of a sudden everyone in the world was passing away. Like everyone. And well, it felt like that. It was either a daddy and a daughter, you know, a little girl running to her dad saying, "Daddy," the same things I would do, and then boom, that was it. But one of the great things that I saw, in a really twisted thing, it was really weird, but I saw posts about people who had lost a parent. I felt so close to those people, even though they were strangers. And I had people reach out to me who didn't know me, and we would just be in the DMs just talking, and they would give me tools, and I found it so helpful. And I would see, you know, women smiling on their wedding day or with their firstborn and saying, you know, that their dad wasn't there to walk them down the aisle, but they look happy. It gave me so much comfort. I literally would binge watch Sister some days, or Moesha some days. I'd even go back to Rugrats on YouTube. I'd find like the cartoon, and that helped me for some of those days. And then there were some days where I would just call my friends crying down the phone, or I just wouldn't get out of bed. It's a process, and I would just say to anyone going through the same thing to, you know, please just allow yourself to feel. So my background is Jamaican, and a couple nights after he passed away, we started with a 9-night, and it's basically a celebration of life. That was hard also because his pictures were everywhere, and I wasn't ready to do that. One of the hardest things is throwing yourself into funeral arrangements, having to talk about him. And really, when you're talking about someone who's passed, it's very, very like the body is going there and all of this, and it's just like, that's my dad you're talking about. You have to almost try and separate yourself from it, but you're not able to. There was all of that going on. I had all my friends come out and support me. Mutia was there. It was amazing. Many of you guys don't know this, but I've got 4 older brothers, and we're all dealing with it differently. We have never had like any arguments or crosswords, but believe you me, during the funeral process, it was just like everyone was arguing, everyone was falling out. It just made the situation 100 times worse than what it needed to be. My dad had special relationships with so many people, so it was hard because everyone felt entitled, and I would definitely get really hurt by the, you know, decisions that were made and things that were going on, and I think everyone was really defensive. So that's another thing. During this process, it's important to just allow everyone to grieve in the way that they grieve. It was a lot. And then there was a funeral, and we decided to go for all white because black just felt so final, and you know, my dad was just full of life. In the end, my dad had the most amazing send-off. I definitely expected after the funeral to feel relieved, but I didn't feel relieved. I actually felt worse. So it's 2 days after the funeral, and I don't know what I expected, but I was hoping I'd feel a bit better. Today has been a struggle, to say the least. I woke up this morning and I just felt my heart, like, I felt so brokenhearted. I physically feel hurt. I could talk to my dad about anything. You know, with parents, you kind of try and alter your personality to suit, you know, the parent. Not alter your personality, but I feel like my mum is more mummy, and I'd be mortified if she knew I'd kissed someone. Do you know what I mean? With my dad, I could go, oh my gosh, Dad, I had my first kiss. Does that make sense? So, you know, I could just be myself with him, and there was never any judgment. Ever. You know, some would say I'm very spoiled. He's never told me off. He never smacked me. And I know there are people watching this going, come again? Just never. We never had any crazy times, really. And he gave me so much confidence, and he made me feel so beautiful, and would just tell me, like, you know, you can do it, and don't worry, and pick yourself up. And he was just so much of a protector. And to actually have to do life without this person is really, really hard. The last thing my dad texted me was to let me know that he loved me and that he couldn't wait to see me. And that, for me, also gives me peace. I'm grateful that, you know, I've got so many amazing people around me. And thank you guys so much as well, because you guys also added to that just through your messages, and that allow me to have some smiles on rainy days, and that continue to do so. And I'm so super blessed.
So many people come and go, but there are few who stay in your life for all time. 'Cause friends are so hard to find. But I just gotta let you know just what you meant to me for most of my life.